Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy Sunday. This is week 3 of our Sunday sit down series, and I'm Naya. So you'll notice Michaela, she's not here with me this weekend. We actually both decided to travel back home, so that's why I'm filming this separately. But I'm so excited to give these notes that I took from my church this morning and deliver them to y'all in the best way that I can. I've already been praying about it, and I hope that it reaches someone the way that it touched me this morning. So I actually attend Wake Chapel Church. It's located in Raleigh, North Carolina, and our pastor is Pastor Wilkins. He's absolutely amazing, really dynamic speaker, so wise, and he's hilarious, which helps out a ton. But my parents, they've been attending this church for a while now, and I've been a few times since I've been back from school, and it's been such a great experience. So we'll go through and talk a little bit about what we talked about today at church. So we first touched on Psalms 27. We read the first verse and the 14th verse, the 14th being the last. So I'll read those for you guys since they're short. So the first reads, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, and whom shall I be afraid?" We all know that verse, I'm sure, very well, but it's extremely common. And the 14th verse reads, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart." Wait, I say, on the Lord. And next, we talked a little bit about the book of Nehemiah. And Nehemiah, that's actually one of my favorite stories in the Bible. Just after reading it a little bit more, now that I'm older and able to comprehend it better, it tells us so much about God. So one of the most interesting things about the book is the first chapter, Nehemiah is actually praying to God, saying, "God, we sin terribly. We sin so much. We do everything that you say don't do. And, you still bless us. You're still here with us. So essentially just guide my steps and stay with me." And I think this is so critical and so interesting to read at the beginning of Nehemiah's book, because he's professing his sins to God. He's saying, "I know I do wrong, but I'm also aware that you are here with me." And that's such a powerful thing. And so Nehemiah, essentially, he is a cupbearer for the king. So one of his servants, essentially. And anything that he wants to do, he must get permission from the king, obviously. So throughout Nehemiah, he's praying to God, and God is speaking to him saying, go to Jerusalem, go back there, go build. And Nehemiah, he's anxious, you could say, thinking that nothing is going to work out. He doesn't know where he's going to get his resources from. And long story short, God continually provides for him throughout his journey. He grants him everything that he needs. And it's just like, if we had that same mindset, we let God know we understand that we're sinners. We understand that we do against you. But we also recognize that that's not, that can't be the voice of our life. We have to work to do better, and we have to work to do better in trusting you and having faith. But throughout that all, we know that you're going to be here. I think that's such a powerful statement. If that's something we kept in our minds throughout, just our daily activities, daily life, how much of a change that would make. So moving down a little bit, our pastor, I have a couple of points written here that I'll talk from. First, we talked to how to handle the lulls in life. So lulls being like periods where you feel like you're not active, nothing's happening. These are kind of periods in our life where a lot of us, we would say we're sad, we're depressed, we're frustrated, nothing's going our way. It's just not seeming to happen for us. And I know me, this is like a big conviction, because it's so easy to, get down on yourself when things are not happening right, or you wanted something to go one way and it just went the complete opposite way. But I think where we as believers make the biggest mistake, instead of getting sad, we don't take the time to ask God, okay, you have me in this period of life. I feel like I'm stuck here. I feel like nothing is happening, but all the while, what can I be doing for you? What do you want me to be doing to further my life? Do I need to build a stronger relationship with you? Is there something with someone else, you want me to go and work on? We have to be better at praying to God about guiding our footsteps. And I think that that's so critical. And I can apply this to so many ways, just throughout the last week. We've had our career fair at Hampton, and with me being in my 5th year, have to find a career. It's that time. There's really no more time to waste. So it's just been a super anxious filled week, I guess you could say, because I really don't know where I'm going. And that can be frustrating, that can be frightening. But in that, I have to know that God is opening all the doors that need to be opened for me. And that absolutely does make me feel better, as I'm sure it does everyone who understands that, God is right here with us and he's not leaving our side. He has a designated place for us to be. And so we can kind of move down and begin to talk about my next point, which really in any period of life this applies. We have people who are around us, who are friends with us. We think they're supposed to be in our lives, even if they've been our friend for X amount of years. And Pastor talked a little bit about we may be in a period of our life where we feel like people are leaving us, where we're leaving other people. We talk about how we grow apart from each other. And one really interesting thing he said here was, just because someone has left from our life or we're not friends with that person anymore, that doesn't make that person a bad person. That doesn't mean that something had to happen for your friendship to end. But God could truly be saying you all are no longer in each other's walk. That person has came their distance. They've done what they've needed to do in your life, and now they can be gone. I know, especially in my age group, that's something that a lot of people deal with, is just understanding, okay, not everyone is meant to be your friend for this period of time. Sometimes it is a situation where people come and people go. Like, we hear that all the time, but we have to understand God's message behind it. It may be time for that person to go, and that's one of those other signals we can look out for. Okay, God, you're moving me to somewhere else. Let me be steadfast and faithful and make sure that I'm praying to hear you and understand what I need to do next. So next, we talked a little bit about living by scripture and not man. And this is another thing. It's so applicable to everything that's happening in life. So my church here in Raleigh in particular, they're renovating their larger church, which is in another area in Raleigh. But nonetheless, our pastor was talking about how he's been extremely discouraged this week because just, things with the insurance on the new church are not really working out. And he was making really profound statements about, okay, well, this is not working out. I'm having a really hard time, going through this process. What if those people are not for me? What if that company is not meant for our church to be with? And I think that, again, another profound thing, if we just stopped in our tracks, when we're going through something and we took the time to think, what if God is telling us this is not for us? Like, we would save ourselves so much heartache and grief. So moving down to my next point, we talked a little bit about when we experience periods of dissatisfaction, God is trying to move us. So again, for me, this really resonated with me because when we're in periods of unfamiliarity, we get very, very uncomfortable. We feel, and this is kind of how our mind can trick ourselves into thinking, nothing's going right. I'm dissatisfied. I'm not content. But really, when you sit down and think about it, okay, like I have so much to be thankful for. Like, God is working everything out in my favor. There's nothing for me to worry about really at all. As long as I'm doing my part and I'm being faithful, I'm being steadfast, I know I'm being obedient to God, I'm doing everything that I can to strengthen my journey with Him. Like, there's nothing else that we have to worry about on our end. And I think that today, the sermon, like, if I could just take like a big black Sharpie and write faith like somewhere on the wall, that's what I would have needed to do after today's sermon. Like, that's the word that kept repeating in my head. That's what I kept hearing, was just to keep having faith. Because our lives are so unpredictable. And the thing about it, there's nothing that we can do to change that. God never said anything was going to be easy. God never said that anything would be given to us. He never said there was a period where, okay, you don't have to pray, you don't have to have faith, everything is going to be smooth. He never promised us these things. But what He did promise us was that He was going to be right here with us. And I think that, or I know that, I know that all we have to do is just sit, pray, remain mindful about the things that we're doing to stay close to God. And God is going to work absolutely everything out. And I am just, after this message today, I'm so excited for what's to come in the future. There's so much that God has not even shown me yet that is going to blow my mind. And I'm happy for the people around me who are gaining these opportunities. They feel like life is going great. And I think that's another really, really important aspect about a message like this. When you're having faith, and other people around you, they're having faith, they're receiving their blessings, you can't get down because you feel like you're not receiving that blessing as well. That's the exact opposite of what we should do as believers. You have to be just as happy, if not more happy. This woman that we go to church with, I could not think of her name at the moment, but something she always says, when people in your neighborhood are receiving blessings, you get happy because you know that one is coming for you too. And second point, God's going to bless you the same way, or not in the same way, but God's going to bless you just as he blessed those other people. So it's not like, oh gosh, I'm so down, I'm never going to receive that blessing. You know, I'm never going to get that new job like they got their new job. I'm never getting that raise like they got their new raise. What's for you is going to be for you. And I think that if we continue to realize that, like, we're, as believers, we're going to be just fine. So enough said. I'm gonna ramble because y'all know I can talk all day, but this was just an absolutely great sermon, and I'm excited to go into the week with this. I think that a lot that I've been praying on, it aligns perfectly with this, and there's no better feeling than walking into church and getting like exact confirmation from what you've been praying on. There's absolutely no better feeling. So with that being said, I hope that everyone enjoyed this. I hope that I didn't ramble too much. I hope that I, was able to get my points across well, but I'm just praying that everyone has a productive week. Make sure you're praying, doing what you need to do to stay close to the Lord. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. And I love you all so much, and have a great week. Bye.